How about now? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Yeah, I could tell that. Well, I just did an update somewhere, and can you hear everything now? The music and everything. So it would have sounded like this. Yeah. Yeah, there was an update to OBS, I think, and then it shifted back to not recognizing the audio driver for the soundboard. Awesome. Looks like Chloe's playing with the fly there. Hey, thanks Sarita and K-Me for the super chats. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, I have to play the intro because I have to have the trigger warning for the Karens of the world. Not if your name happens to be Karen, but the Karen that's described by people complaining, whining and bitching and moaning about every goddamn thing. And
this video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you,
then
consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
With a red hot poker. Gray, I can't support your channel anymore. There we go. I'll have it on quiet this time. Yeah, alright. Yeah, what was it? I'll just read it. It was so childish. It was, I won't say who it was from. Where is this? Hold on. Oh yeah. Here it is, everybody. Gray, I really enjoyed being a member of your channel discussing true crime. I didn't realize it was a requirement to agree with you, your political beliefs. I mean this sincerely. It's a free country. I can have my own political opinions. You can also have a channel that chases people off for it. I didn't come to the channel to debate politics, but you made it clear last night that people who don't agree with you could leave. Yeah, never said that. I felt like I wasn't wanted, so I canceled. Yeah, the cancel culture morons. Okay. It really sucks because I wanted to contribute to the cause you support. And then I said, yeah, you can always contribute on your own to the causes. Don't put that on me. And I said, nobody said it was a requirement. Alright, then right down below she said, clearly you can't have a conversation with, oh wait, no, what was it up here? She said, oh yeah, I know I can contribute on my own too, own to causes. I meant the specific DNA cases. I'll make contributions somewhere. I also meant I like being part of the channel because I'm a big true crime buff. Last night you were saying if people didn't agree with you, they could leave. Never actually said that. I just didn't come to discuss politics with you. I respect that you have different opinions on some things, but I don't feel that you do the same. You should advertise as a right-wing Republican true crime channel. No, I should advertise as a logical thinking, no-nonsense channel. Okay? That's what I should advertise as. I don't think irrationally like a lot of people do. Alright? There's people that think that defunding the police is a good idea. Okay? It really isn't. I don't agree, Gray. Okay, well, you can disagree, but you're wrong, okay? Just accept it. It's not an opinion. All right, there you go, everybody. That's what I always get. That's what I get. I get emails like that.
It's weird. You know, it's weird. Yeah, I won't say the name just because, you know, it's a private email, but the words that were on it, I just wanted to let you know that this is what I get if I ever say something. Because I mean, what I was saying last night is exactly what I believe. I don't think I once said, if you don't agree with me, you have to leave. Nobody ever said that. Okay? But that might be what your brain thought I said. Who knows? Who knows how that was? But it is what it is. Thought I'd just give you a glimpse into a nightly... Oh, and thank you very much, Callie Gal 3. Very kind, very kind. Well, no, she's just a wacky person, LM. I could tell just by the comments back and forth. Yeah. It's almost scary, to be honest with you. Yep, they can't take it. And yeah, I mean, right now my channel, I lose. I'm doing this slow, like there's people that just joined the channel because of Kohberger, and then when they look in and they get a recommendation, oh, what the hell case is that? Then they unsubscribe. So I'm getting the same number of subscribers every day, or a little bit more than I used to get daily, but I lose even more, and it's been going on for like a month now. Because that's why I don't like having the flash in the pan case where you get like 25,000 subscribers, because they're not really people that are interested in anything else that you do, and then eventually they'll just leave because you're not just selling your soul and covering the same big case every single day over and over and over and over again. So hey, thanks Kathy Friedenmaker. But I could do that. I mean, there's things that I'm interested in, like the Murdoch trial still interests me. Like I feel like I'm still want to put together some sort of a comprehensive video on certain elements of it. I want to do what I think happened at the crime scene and everything leading up to that in a short, maybe like a 20-minute video or something. It's just taking me a while to keep compiling it. I watched a whole bunch on it today. I mean, it's pretty interesting, the information that when you rewatch it, now I can see various things like how the car was sort of slowed down slightly right after it threw out the phone. I wasn't able to see that clearly. And on the screen during the trial, they put the GPS coordinates up on the screen, so I was able to plot those out. And I didn't do all of them because they were just kind of redundant stuff, like a mile down the road again. There's no really. Hey, thanks. I'll eat cake. And I appreciate all you guys' support. Yeah, keep us doing what we've been doing. We're almost at the halfway point of. I mean, doesn't it just seem like time just goes by way too fast? Man, we're already. It seems like the month end was just a couple days ago. Now it's. Tomorrow will be the 12th, 13th, 14th. 15th is coming right up. And thanks, Allie Cake. And the older you get, like we've been talking about, hey, look at there's LM, as in Element Open. Good to see you, LM. I was actually kind of worried that you usually just show up, even with all the battling and and then I was like, where the hell is LM? Yeah, so it's good to see you. And if you're out there and you're not a channel member, can maybe consider becoming a channel member, but it looks like most of the people here that are commenting are channel members. The channel members also help out. I try to from the income from the channel. Like, you guys support the channel, and I try to donate over 50% of the net revenue to various true crime related charities, and so far this year we're at $12,500 ahead of last year's schedule. But I have a feeling, it's just this year with the economy and everything, I don't know. Hopefully if we can get somewhere near last year, that'd be awesome. Last year, this coming year. But right now we're ahead of last year. We'll see how that goes. But as a grand total of the channel donating to various true crime related charities, $139,250. So thank you, freaks, for making that happen. All right. $14 months. All right. I don't know if she has you. You know what you got to do, Darlene, is go to live chat. Every once in a while, people have various people that you can't see. So go to live chat. Okay. All right, one really quick thing here we'll get to is right here. So in Baton Rouge, let's see, it says the Baton Rouge Police Department identified a person they want to question about the death of a Georgia father whose body was found Monday. He's the guy that was wrapped up in the plastic. Baton Rouge Police Department said they are looking for 45-year-old Derek Perkins, who they believe may have information. Hey, thanks, Christy Kazi. Millard's body, so it was Nathan Millard. Millard's body was found on March 6th wrapped in plastic and a rug in an abandoned lot. So, they have a guy. Let's see if this is... Can I play that? Hold on a second. Oh, maybe that? No, that's not it. Jeez. Not sure why that didn't play.
Time does fly by. I love your channel, Gray. Best channel around. Heart, collision, victory hand.
Well, thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, people don't realize he was really drunk, right? So he fell down some stairs where there happened to be this big, huge plastic wrap container, and he rolled up into it. Then he tried standing and then fell into a carpet, and that rolled up on him. And then the wind blew him down the street for a couple miles until he rolled into an abandoned garage. It's really strange. Obviously, there wasn't a person who did that. It was just, yeah. Okay. So here is the Murdaugh. There's a first responder reveals new crime scene details after a guilty verdict. Let's see what he says.
I've been up to it now. Oh. Oh.
Yeah. A South Carolina detective who responded to the scene, this is Fox News here, of the Murdaugh double murders on the evening of June 7, 2021, addressed lingering questions about details of the scene and about Alex Murdoch following her testimony. Scene and Alex Murdoch following her testimony at Murdoch's trial in January. The Colleton County jury convicted the disgraced 54-year-old lawyer on March 3rd, fatally shooting his wife, Maggie Murdaugh, and younger son, Paul Murdaugh, multiple times on his hunting estate in Islandton. He was sentenced to life in prison. Carleton County Sheriff's Office Detective Laura Rutland was... Oh, yeah, I remember her, yeah. She was behind him in the vehicle. Laura Rutland was one of the first few investigators to interview Murdaugh at the crime scene and noticed that he was wearing a clean white t-shirt and cargo shorts, even though the former lawyer told investigators that he had tried to take Paul's pulse and turn his body over, which struck her as odd. Paul and Maggie were shot multiple times. Paul was shot by a shotgun, which caused catastrophic damage to the top of his head. In addition to the biological matter around his body, there was also a lot of water. Rutland, the state's attorney, the state's first witness in the Murdaugh trial, told Fox News Digital, and the jury was able to see that on Sergeant Green's body camera. It was just so odd that even Alex's shoes were as clean as they were, including the soles of the shoes. Yeah, there's no way in hell you could be standing around the crime scene, checking pulses and so forth, and not get some sort of blood on the bottom of your shoes. No chance. I mean, there was dew on the ground, but anybody walking around Paul's body would have that watery, bloody mixture on their shoes. Rutland also clarified a question Murdoch defense asked her in court about hair found in Maggie's hand after she was shot to death. I just wanted to clarify that when she had suffered her injuries and the bullet exited the back of her head, it created a large hole which displaced that part of her skull, including her scalp and her hair, the detective explained. So all around her body, there was small clumps of the back of her hair in the grass around her body. Some had fallen near her hands and her arms, and when we removed the body, some of the hair that was on her fingers, it was just a few strands went with her. So it's probably her own strands. Rutland was assigned to work the case at the time because she was not familiar with the Murdaugh family and their family legacy in the South Carolina Low Country. I got there and was kind of surprised by how many law enforcement vehicles there were, and I was like, okay, this must not be a normal double homicide. Something's going on. Rutland, the state's first witness, told Fox News Digital. They asked me if I knew the Murdoch family, and I didn't, so I got chosen to work with South Carolina Law Enforcement Division agent David Owen. I went in there with the thought to just handle it like every other case. Rewatching the video of her interview with Murdoch, Rutland said it seemed like he was trying to make himself cry when recounting what he had witnessed at the kennels. His brains were in my hands. I don't know if he said that, but he said something stupid like that. Murdoch initially told investigators he had been to the dog kennels, hadn't been to the dog kennels at all that night. He said he'd taken a nap at the house on the hunting property and then driven to see his sick mother before returning to find Maggie and Paul dead near the kennels. A video that Paul snapped on the phone later revealed Murdoch's voice and at the dog kennel just before the murder took place. I've seen it in person, and now I've seen it all in all of the interviews. How he can turn it on and off, Rutland said of Murdoch crying. I wonder if she thought that at the time, though. Now that he has been convicted, the detective believes Murdoch's tears in court were indicative of him reliving the crimes. Hey, welcome, Vamplifier. Smooches, Woobles. All right, thank you.
Smooches freaks.
After the guilty verdict, jurors exited the courtroom, thanked Rutland and Carleton County Captain Jason Chapman for their work. I'm very proud of the jury that they were able to follow such a complicated case and understand all the facts and evidence that we brought to them the night of the conviction, she said. It was kind of crazy in the courthouse afterwards with the media and everybody. We were trying to get everyone out of the courthouse safely. My captain and I just happened to come out of a side door where the jury was being escorted, and they wanted to shake our hands. I'll never forget that moment. I was very impressed with the jury and appreciative of their service to Carleton County. I've actually listened to a bunch of the jury interviews, and, you know, to the credit of South Carolina and their education system, the 22-year-old, he's a 22-year-old jury. He has like a beard. He looks a little bit like Ted Bundy, to be honest with you, but he was absolutely he was one of the most articulate, well-spoken people I've ever seen. I mean, he was unbelievable. So, man, that was a good pickup there. Yeah. So, there you go. There's that. I've just been working. These are all the little pins that I've put out on there for what they were showing at trial, different times, and, you know, even here, exactly where the vehicle right here at 9:43 is when he got here. His car was here at 9:22 and then there at 9:43, so sort of wonder, I mean, it had some movement even after he got there. Hey, thank you, Kelsey. Appreciate it. So good job, South Carolina, for what it's worth on that. All right, now we're going to get to make sure I'm in the right place here. I thought there was something weird going on there. He just slowed it down, and it was really simple. Is the 11th? Must have lost that one. Just a second, I gotta get this address here. I must have put it in the wrong place. This is a woman that was held for 4 years. So where did I put that? Oh, oops. Made 2 folders with the same name. Yeah, so it's in this trailer park right here. It's number 89. There's no street view in there because there's a locked gate. I think there might even be one on this side. Oh, this side doesn't have one. So one of these trailers in here, we might be able to determine somehow later. Forget it. A Texas man has been arrested and charged with kidnapping for allegedly holding a woman captive inside a locked trailer with bars on the windows for 4 years. Abraham Segura, 42, was apprehended Wednesday and ordered held on a $150,000 bond. According to court records cited by station KTRK, Segura's victim was rescued after calling for help from a phone inside the trailer on West Green Road. So is that right? Yeah. It doesn't say West Green Road, but that's the one listed for him. trailer home on West Green Road in Harris County while the suspect was at work. So let's see. I'm looking at the Ben verified here. I think it's West Field Road, not West Green Road. Although there is another one here. Hold on. 700. This is back in 2018. Is what they have it listed for, but maybe that is where this would be because that's 4 years ago, basically. So there's that one, and then there is. It's in Texas. Here, let me get rid of the trailer part there. Okay, so this is the trailer park apparently in here. Does it have Street View on it? No, it does go in a little bit. They probably had better second thoughts, like, you know, this is a little dicey, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. So that's number 1. So if it's number 89, does it go all the way around? I mean, there's no other Street View in here, unfortunately. I'm not going to sit here and count them, but like right here is 1, 2, 3, you know, so somewhere likely over in this area. Okay, according to court records, client cited by station KTRK, Segura's victim was rescued after calling for help from a phone inside the trailer home on West Green Road in Harris County. The woman told deputies who responded that her alleged captor had held her at gunpoint and threatened to kill her. Firefighters who assisted with the rescue had to use power tools to cut through the burglar bars and sheets of plywood on the window to extricate the victim. During Segura's initial court appearance, a prosecutor presented the allegations against him. So look at that. They had to cut through the metal right there to get into the inside the unit. According to court records, Segura's victim was rescued after calling for help from a phone inside the trailer home. And that's him right there. All the exits of the trailer were blocked. When deputies finally gained entrance into the residence, they allegedly found 3 handguns inside, according to reports. The hearing officer overseeing the proceedings told the defendant it was not the right time or place to mount his defense. We're not going to argue the facts of the case today because it's not going to change my mind about probable cause, the hearing officer shot back. If Segura makes bond, he would be required to remain under house arrest. The 42-year-old's criminal history includes a sole conviction. Yeah, I was going to say, I found that. So here's what I found. That's all I could find was possession, same date. Possession of marijuana, 0 to 2 ounces. I mean, that's just like small potato stuff there. God, look at that. Place looks like Fort Knox. All right, man charged with kidnapping for allegedly keeping a woman locked up. Another article. The alleged victim reportedly called for help. I think that's pretty much the same. And we played this video the other night. There isn't really a lot of information out on this currently. Let's see.
Segura locked the woman inside a mobile home near Houston until the victim was able to use a phone to call for help while Segura was at work. Fire died. Segura is being held on $150,000 in North Carolina. Police say a man crashed his car right into the airport and through the terminal. They say he
It's something else. Or is that him?
crashed his car right. Developing story from Wilmington, North Carolina. Police say a man.
Oh, that's different. All right, Amplifier. Thanks for upgrading. Woman held captive inside locked trailer for 4 years. So let's see if this has any extra. A man has been charged with kidnapping after deputies say he held a woman captive for captive 4 years inside a locked trailer in North Harris County. Abraham Bravo Segura, 42, remains in jail Thursday evening with a $150,000 bond after being arrested on Wednesday, officials said. According to court records, the victim was able to call for help from a phone inside the mobile home while Segura was at work. The woman told the Harris County Sheriff's Office deputies that he held her at gunpoint and threatened to kill her, and that she could not escape. During Segura's first court hearing, a prosecutor laid out the allegations. The defendant had kept the complainant inside a trailer for approximately 4 years. How many years? The hearing officer asked. 4, she responded. The prosecutor said all the exits of the trailer were blocked. Burglar bars were on the windows and 3 handguns were found inside. On Wednesday night, after bolt cutters didn't work on the padlock, the fire department had to use power tools to cut through bars to gain entry and get the victim out. All right, Jody H. Segura, described as a barber and tattoo artist by public defender, was seen clearly in disagreement with the allegations. He asked the hearing officer more than once if he could defend himself. We're not going to argue the fact of the case today, the hearing officer replied. Segura requested a court-appointed attorney. If he can make bond, he has to abide by several bond conditions, including house arrest. How ironic is that? Segura did not have one prior conviction for he did have one prior conviction of misdemeanor marijuana, and he said, I did hear something where he said something about, there's another side to the story. It's not what you think, or something. I don't know. I mean, isn't that what they all say? So currently, there isn't really much information on this, but it's in this trailer park right here. Apparently, I'd like to know who the person is, because was she reported missing by anyone or anything? And make sure to hit that like button, everybody. We got 408 people watching, and more than half of you just couldn't give a damn about hitting it. So what you do is just reach down and you press the button. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel, as I was saying earlier, every single night the freaks support the channel. I spend hours putting stuff together, then I do 3-4 hour shows, and allows me to keep doing this, and it also allows me to, on behalf of my channel, donate a shitload of money. Without you guys, I can't do it. So yeah, it's pretty easy to hit that like button. It's like one of the easiest things in the world. You just literally, when you come onto the show, you just hit it. I don't know. Yeah, so we'll just have to wait until we get more information on that one. I just thought it was pretty crazy. Oh yeah, and then in the Bryan Kohberger, I thought the bots were on. Oh, I turned it on earlier, but guess it didn't. Hold on. Should work. Now, I think. Let's see. Links. Yeah. Oh, I gotta get that. Yeah, that's the wife. Yeah, so she always calls when she's about to head home. Oh yeah? Interesting. I'm not sure what that means, Carlos. Gonna have to put you on timeout. Maybe you can come back when you can speak English. Thanks. Yeah, don't worry about I don't have really another channel anymore, Sarita. I just made a playlist on this channel called Nefarious, where people can go watch those. That channel doesn't really... I don't have time. Yeah. Alright. So we're just going to go do these in sort of order. I've got these 4. See, these are cases that nobody's ever going to talk about, so to my detriment, as I read through these, it's going to be just like this. In the chat, because, well, first I was going to go over the thing. In Bryan Kohberger's case, they have a whole bunch of documents that they just released, and where is it? Have it right here. Yeah, there it is. I'll show you over here on the website. Down here, State, Idaho, and they updated on the 10th. They put out all these, you know, a whole bunch of these just came out. Even though the date's older, I think a ton of these, like almost starting right around in this area, these are all new, but there's nothing really. The one thing that everybody's trying to pretend is really interesting is the Amazon one up here. Where is it? Here, I'll just do it. Probably was right in front of my face. There it is. Yeah, so you go here and there's this part down here where they go, oh my god, he bought something on Amazon. We don't know if he bought anything on Amazon. You know, we have no idea if he bought something. That's why they're doing a search warrant to see if he bought something on Amazon. Yeah, right there. So it says, Lawrence Mowry, having given me proof upon oath this day showing probable cause, establishing grounds for using a search warrant, and probable cause to believe that the property referred to and sought in or upon said premise consists of information for the crimes of homicide in the possession or control, homicide in the possession or control of Amazon related to the sales of the following items. So I think they're just seeing if they were able to buy those items. You know, I mean, did he buy that item, the K-bar knife, at Amazon? I think it's just sort of like he probably had an Amazon account and they're checking on it. He could have bought it there. So they're looking for if he has a fighting knife, sheath, or straight edge knife. Account information for the above named individual, order details and purchase history for all transactions conducted by the above named individual, payment information, and all customer interaction records between Amazon and the above named individual. So they're just doing a wide sweep and trying to find something. And they're doing the same thing like American Express, Apple, AT&T, Bank of America, all these different, eBay, Dropbox, Discover Card, Elon Financial Services, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Like Match.com right here. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it. And looks like Snap, Chat, T-Mobile, Umpqua Bank, UPS, Verizon, Walmart, Yahoo, Yik Yak. So the fact that it says Amazon up here, it doesn't mean, oh my God, he bought it on Amazon. He may have bought it on Amazon, but you would think that these people making these videos in such a hurry to get the information out there to try to make people, it's just pure sensationalism. I saw a video that was a minute long or something. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. Look at this. They're doing a search warrant on Amazon. He must have bought the K-bar knife at Amazon. Well, we don't know if he bought it there. He could have. Yeah, he could have bought it there. That's why they're doing the search. Getting the warrant to get the information from Amazon. Yeah, no, that's what you would think if you listen to, true crime YouTubers don't give a shit about putting out rational, reasonable information, myself unincluded. Okay, they like to put out like sensationalistic garbage so that everybody gets excited and whoa. I mean, I can't tell you how many people right now think that he bought those items there. I mean, anything's possible, right? That might be what the warrant finds out, but it doesn't say that. Now, there's tons of it like that. Hey, thank you, Claudia Neubauer. Old school Claudia Neubauer. She's been around since I first started streaming. Hey, thank you so much, CG. Very cool, and happy weekend, everybody. Oh yeah, there we go. Thank you, Hamilton Blue Stars Robertson. I ended up sending money to that person because it turned out to be the real person, and I haven't heard back yet though. So now I'm like, oh wow, it wasn't a ton, but it was something. It's like, but I'm not here. I'm here to, I'm trying to raise funds for my channel. Around Christmas time, a lot of times I'll help some people out or whatever. But mainly I'm here to do the charities and help support my own channel here. Yeah, you like the Muscle Man one? Makes you laugh? I probably got screwed. I saw it was received, but I never got a thank you. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird? Like somebody... They even emailed me explaining, no, I heard the show. Yeah, it's really me. And then they took back the ask for it. Then I sent it, and they received it, and they never once emailed me or said anything. Jesus. Yeah, no good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe she somehow wasn't able to get it, but it's pretty odd. Seems like that'd be the first thing you'd think of doing, right? Hey, Nomad Beads. Yeah, let's just read that paragraph again down here. Hey, thank you so much, Jeffrey House Hauer. Or is it Who's Hour? Who's Hour? My Hour. Or is it House Hour? Hey, tell me how to pronounce that last name, man. I gotta know that one. How do you pronounce your last name there, Jeffrey? Type it in, like, phonetically. House shower? No way. Really? Come on, I'm not asking you guys. I want him. Okay, who shower? Okay, so the first one I said. Oh, you almost got it right, Vamplifier. You almost got it right. He said it was who shower. Okay, there you go. Who shower? We shower. I shower. I hope you took a shower. There you go. I almost got it right originally when I said who's our, but, you know, because it's like who's shower. I didn't say it like that, but. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Jeffrey who shower. There you go. Got it. It's a who shower. There you go, right, Ray Death Ray? It's a... Yeah. Wait, here we go. Let's do it like this. Hold on a second. It's a who shower! It's a who shower! Who shower! Okay, got it. You can put that on your cell phone, your ring phone now. Oh, did you hear that one? That's pretty funny. Anyways, that's enough for that one. That was pretty funny, though. Anyways, thank you. Appreciate it. Where's that part that had it in there again? Oh, yeah? Oh, cool. Yeah, I try to make people laugh once in a while. When I'm not being an ass about politics, you know? Like when I tell you, you're not welcome here if you don't agree with my politics. Hey, I guarantee it, over 50% of the people here don't agree with me on my politics. But they agree with some elements of it that I say. You know, let me just read this, see what this says one more time. Lawrence Mowry. Okay. Any peace officer authorized to enforce or assist in enforcing any law of the state of Idaho, Lawrence Mowry, having given me proof upon oath this day showing probable cause, establishing grounds for issuing a search warrant, and probable cause to believe that the property referred to and sought in or upon said premises consist of information for the crimes of homicide in the possession or control of Amazon related to the sales of the following items. So there's probable cause to believe that for somehow, right? Like maybe they found a receipt or something, or you know, maybe they think it is. But all those things say the same thing. So it could just be he has an Amazon account. They were able to find that. So let's see if, by looking through his purchase history, if there's a K-bar knife in there. That's what I think. Hey, thank you very much, Lisa Murphy. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't really even follow. I mean, I still follow politics sometimes, you know, but it's nowhere near what I used to do. I just still feel the same frustration at various things. I think she was particularly upset when I was talking about how there are people that are, I mean, it's true. I mean, there's liberals out there. Okay, so even if you're liberal, don't get upset with what I'm saying here. That you might move to a state because you can't stand the what was going on in the, like Portland, for example. It's a freaking nightmare, and it was created by this sort of I don't know a better way to say it, but sort of like a woke mentality bullcrap where the whole city's been decimated into oblivion, okay? So there's people from Portland that'll move to a place like Texas because they want law and order, and they want things to be back the way they were. But as soon as they get there, they start voting in the same types of people who got them in that position in the first place. So it's a weird thing to me, and I don't know what else to say, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't really understand it. It's a weird mentality. It's like, you go there and then you vote in because you're not the same political party as what most of the people are. So you vote in the same radicals that created the same problem that you just left from. So can anybody explain to me how to make that not be that way? Because it's pretty strange. All right, let's see. Yeah, so I think they were just fishing here to see if he did buy it there. Wouldn't that be crazy if he bought it on Amazon? It was left at his door at one point. Opens the box up. Jeez. Yeah, so there's just tons of things. I mean, I'll show you again. I think all of these ones, at least probably the ones that say 27th here, down, are probably all these are new, but they're all just kind of the same thing. They're trying to do search warrants on various places. And on this site, it's kind of cool because they have the big cases of note. So they have that one, and then just below it is, let's see, where was it? Oh yeah, Lori and Chad Daybell right here, because it's in Idaho. Not sure what this is right here. And then, oh, there's Lori Vallow. So that one at the top was Chad. Yeah, no, I don't think they're radical. That's why I use the word radical, Katie. See, that's where your problem is. See, people like you, when you hear somebody speak, you assign meaning because it's already bugging you. Okay, nobody said that at all. Okay, what I said was, Portland is a ludicrously radical left-wing agenda where the streets, it's almost like something out of a apocalyptic film downtown Portland. It's absolutely ridiculous. And nobody has the guts to do anything about it. And I think it's disgusting. So, I mean, not all cities are like that. I mean, look at the governor of what was he? Well, he used to be the governor of Pennsylvania, but I think it's Pennsylvania. He's the senator, Manchin. I don't know, it's not Pennsylvania. It's a place where they are, Virginia maybe? Coal mining? Can't remember exactly. But, like Manchin. He's somebody I can deal with him. He's rational. Nancy Pelosi, not so much. She's a lunatic. Oh, West Virginia, okay. Yeah. Anyways, see, I don't know why. See, why does stuff like that offend people? Yeah, Seattle's a joke. I mean, I don't understand why there isn't an uprise of the people saying, "What are you guys doing here? This is crazy, you guys. We need to have a civil society. And the way to do that is by having law enforcement." No, it's not the way they want it. Bread buns. Yeah, it's when you say they, who? The anarchists? The crazy people? Yeah, West Virginia, right. That's what he used to be the governor. I remember he was the governor remember that crazy mine collapse where all those people died? And I mean, it was such a crazy story because There was like 20 people, and they had air, but 19 or so decided to let themselves die so that this younger man that has a kid could live. So he got some of their air, and he almost completely, like, they got in there just in the nick of time to save him. But man, how amazing is that? I mean, that would take a lot of, like, you know, none of those people wanted to die, but they were willing to. This is fun to watch. Like, I get, you're so much fun to watch. Right when I'm talking about the minor collapse. Yeah. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic, Asa Jensen. Appreciate all you being here and supporting the channel. Yeah, it's awesome. Portland used to be awesome. Yeah, it used to be. I never really liked the politics of Portland. I mean, but the city was always maintained, clean, had really good, you know, law enforcement would always show up right on time, beautiful streets and everything. Now it's an absolute national embarrassment, just all in like a 4-year period. Yeah. Seattle and Vancouver aren't far behind. Do you guys remember that, what I was talking about with the... I don't want to keep talking about the cities and shit. I just brought that up for a second. Yeah, we know, Mimi. We've been talking about that for... You're like 20 minutes behind on the show. Remember in Virginia, or West Virginia, where the coal mine collapsed? Did you guys hear what I just explained? I didn't see one comment referring back to that. I think he was the governor at the time. It seemed like it was like in 2005-ish. Well, you know, it was huge. It was all over the news. And like I said, all the miners allowed themselves to die so that the one remaining person could have some air. The youngest person, the one that had a child. Yeah, they were all coal miners. Yeah. I think feels like it was early 2000s. It wasn't too long after like 9/11 or something, or... Yeah. Nah, you have to... Hey, bread and buns, you say a lot of stuff that isn't true. Portland is... You go downtown Portland and it looks terrible, okay? You've never been there, and I can just tell you that it's an absolute joke. Tents lining the entire city. No, Michael... Yeah. Get it, everybody, the coal miner's daughter. Yeah, everyone died except... the new guy was young and had a baby at home. And he just barely survived. The rescue teams finally got in there to save the one person. And he was using their oxygen masks, what was remaining on them. Because at first it seemed like there might have been a rescue somewhat soon. And yeah, it was just brutal. Yep. Yeah, I think, it was like 20 people total. Yep. Okay, now let's get to these other cases here. The ones that you'll never see discussed anywhere but here on Grant Hughes Investigates. Sometimes we don't have enough, there's not enough articles and so forth. And then somebody will make a podcast and a family member spoke or something, and I put links in for things like that. I don't have, I don't read or I don't listen to other people's podcasts and then do my show. I try to go through the newspapers and figure out what's going on, and that's how I do it. Oh, really? He's one of the most corrupt ever, huh? Oh, jeez. And you're right in there. You've got the inside scoop, right, Teresa? Oh, it was 2006, so my memory wasn't too shitty. I was thinking 2005. Yeah, they should. I don't know if there was ever a movie made on that, but ugh. You know what? A movie I don't like watching is what is the one? Hold on, it's called Perfect Storm. It's just maybe if you watch it once, and that's about it. It's like watching Schindler's List over and over because you thought it was great. I mean, it's like, how do you watch A Perfect Storm again after you know what happens in it? It's ridiculous. You just kind of, oh, jeez. So that's why if you had a movie made for the minor accident, you'd watch it one time maybe, never watch it again because it's just so disturbing and sad. I mean, unless you want to sit there bawling and crying and being depressed. Yeah, that was a great movie. It was weird. It was kind of creepy going into the movie Schindler's List because when you walked in there, like everybody leaving the previous showing, they're all crying. I mean, they had tears in their eyes and shit. So you're like, holy crap, what are we doing? And Saving Private Ryan's kind of similar, had the same epic effect like that. And the first scene in Saving Private Ryan is, people that were there said it was so realistic, it almost traumatized them again. Yeah. Yeah, we know, Mimi. Mimi's like, hey, I gotta tag Mimi here. Alright, there we go. I thought The Pianist was good too. You ever seen that one? The Pianist? Not... I know how Zozo's mind worked. If you don't say it just right. I'm one of the last to watch The Perfect Storm and Titanic, yeah. Like a piano player. Yeah. Okay, anyways, before we get to these other ones, I gotta take a break for a second. Get some water. I knew it, see? All right, everybody, type in a 1 right now. You can do it. And a 1 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 All right, now everybody send in super chats right now. And I want,
on 15, I bet a bear on 15, I bet a bear on 15, 20, I bet a bear on 15, I bet a bear on 20, I bet a bear on 30, 30, 25, I bet a bear on 30, you want to bet 30, sir, 20, you're out, I bet a bear on 25, I bet a bear on 30, 30, now 5, I'm 30.
Yeah, you notice how there wasn't the same enthusiasm. Wow. Hey, look at Cindy J. Yay! Look at that. There we go. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Tina Souser and Marlene and man. I gots to do that more often. Hey, thanks, Marlene. Wait, it just kept going. I didn't even see. Don G, thank you. And Jamie, thank you. Wait, I must have just skipped out. It was Marlene. Dog G, yeah, so thank you to Cindy J, Tina Souser, Marlene, Don G, John Dunn, Jamie. It was me. You guys are awesome. I can't believe it. Irene Cipher.
I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
And Renee H. You asked and I have. Anyways, thank you. That sounds like the line from Groundhog's Day right at the end. Let's see. So let's see what they say. Okay, we got sending right now. Takes me a while. I'm slow. You ask and I obey. Kelly Snyder. Simple Life Days.
You ask and I obey. Lol.
Georgina Stoliker. Carly S. Nikki Zibs. And Susie Clue and Daphne. Man, it feels like I'm your gypsy. She said, Daphne said, I love your show. Well, thank you. Thank you, your gypsy. And Peter Mum. You must be from, that sounds like Mum, or Peter
This takes longer than typing a one.
You guys give me those hard ones. And then Diane Carr said, severed pianist found in coal mine. Yeah, he was cut off from his family, Dan. Yeah, that was it. I love
your show. Heart.
Anyways, thank you guys. Brenda Ivy, Jody H.
Chewbacca?
Annabelle Stealth, John Dunn.
Chewbacca if you want me to.
Susie Clue, Nikki Zibs. That's pretty funny. Yes, he was cut off from his family. Dan, this is a family show. All right. Anyways, thank you guys very much there. I was just kind of goofing around, but hey, you guys made it work. It was crazy. You know what's funny is I think when I have people hit the like button, more people sent super chats in than hit the like button when I say hit the like button. Thank you to the Q Reynolds. And Lisa Valenzuela. This is fun. All right. Let me get to this one. Oh, man, there's Tanya Lee who said, pulled me out from lurking. Freaks rule. Yes, they do. I'm always nice and fun about it. Maybe not every time.
Pulled me out from lurking.
If not, G-rated. Lorena Bobbitt severed the penis. Shit. She had a relative that was a pianist? Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, maybe not every time. Thank you, Elaine.
Lorena Bobbitt, knife, severed the penis.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 4 of these kind of unknown cold cases. You know how interesting they are? Well, that's up to you. I always think it's weird when there's these unsolved murders of people over the age of 70 that are just kind of in their home and somebody came in and killed them. We kind of did a few of those one time. It's bizarre. Like, who in the hell does that? Doesn't even seem like there's a motive. I mean, we've had ones where, really like 75, 80-year-old people are murdered and there's a sexual assault component to it. It's like, really? God, leave them the hell alone, man. I mean, not to say, somebody else, but just like, they've lived their whole lives and you're going to do that? We don't know what that even means, bread and buns. Pretty soon I'm going to just remove you. Your comments are just so random. Have nothing to do with what we're talking about. In fact, I'll just put you on timeout so that all the previous comments are gone as well. You're in a trance? Those aren't the droids you were looking for, Lori. Well, it's just so bizarre, I mean, it's sick as hell for a whole bunch of different reasons. Huh? Yeah. Okay, this one is Lorraine, it's like Lonine. I'm not even really sure how let me see how I have it written there. Yeah, Lonine Rogers. So maybe it's Lonine. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but I've never seen that name before. Lonene. Oh, I have, Gray. Yeah, sure you have. So the only reference, you know what? Here, you guys want to see something crazy, though, you guys? There's only one reference to this individual that I could find in the newspaper because she's missing at this point. She's a missing person. And guess what article it was in? Look at this. Remember that big article we had in the Tina Losser case? It was the really one that was comprehensive and went through the whole case. She's listed down here because the report about the other missing deaf woman also worried local deaf club members. At first, rumor had it that the Philadelphia police were seeking a missing deaf woman. That was true as far as it went, but the woman is from western Pennsylvania. Philadelphia's missing person desk had received information on the case from Pennsylvania State Police in Medville, which is 20 miles from the Ohio line. The case stems from a domestic quarrel, says Corporal Charles Lee of the state police. After a fight with her husband, Lonine Rogers, 24, dashed into the winter night without her hat and coat and disappeared in January. So she was another, hearing impaired person. If you haven't seen the Tina Losser case, you should watch the video I made on it in the Nefarious playlist. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Like, her shoes were placed together on top of an icy pond. She was there. There was like these hesitation marks with a knife on her back, as if she was made to walk. And then she was killed, and then she was weighted down with cinder blocks into this stream, and had floated to the surface. And it was weird because she was at work and went out to do some snacks at 7 o'clock at night, and went to this kind of like an AM PM. And then she started talking to a woman there, who seemed like maybe she was also hearing, deaf, I guess. And then, but her car was parked in a way where it had a flat tire, but she'd made it to where she was going. So it's almost like the car had to be driven around the block again and parked there. And then she disappeared. And apparently, though, the guy that she was with, he's also deaf. He was seeing somebody else, and I've actually seen pictures of that woman, and it looks just like the sketch that they came up with. I mean, that woman looked just like this person. I mean, it was amazing. So, anyways, so this is the only reference I could find of her in the newspaper. Yeah, she worked at a bank. Yeah, that one. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be on the other channel. It's on this channel in the playlist called Nefarious. Or you can go to the Nefarious channel, but I don't really use that anymore. I was starting to use it, but kind of just quit. Yeah, well, that's your problem, Cindy. You gotta listen better, Cindy. Yeah. Let's see. Let me get to the this one right here. Yeah. Just, you're always complaining. It's just unbelievable. So this is her right here. This is the missing person. Yeah, she worked at a bank. She had a break at night. Went to like an AM PM. And then remember how there was also receipts found down the highway, stuff out of her wallet. And then her shoes were neatly placed on a pond. It was really strange. Nowhere near where she was found. But anyways, this case is a different person. It's Lonine Rogers. She has quite a different look. Like here, comparing this to that, right? I mean, that's like this one and this one are totally different. So down here it says Rogers was last seen at her home. This is the Charlie Project here. Rogers was last seen at her home on Route 98 in the Little's Corner area of Hatfield Township, Pennsylvania, 10 miles northwest of Meadville on the evening of January 7th, 1981. She got into an argument with her husband, Clinton R. Rogers. This is 1981. That's why it's Tina Losser was the same year. Yes. Later that night, Clinton woke up and realized Lonine was not in bed with him. I just read about it to you. I said she's another missing deaf person. Later that night, Clinton woke up and realized Lonine was not in bed with him. He assumed he was asleep on the couch. Later that night, Clinton woke up and realized Lonine was not in bed with him. He assumed, I think it meant to say she, was asleep on the couch. When he woke up, it says he there, but it meant she. Really, Scouting Dude? Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Some people think I'm nice. Some people hate my guts. But isn't that the way it goes? Yeah. You're pretty nice. Maybe sometimes.
Gray, you're the kindest person I know. Soon
I mean, I might be an ass, but I think we do a hell of a lot of good over here, don't you think? Later that night, Clinton woke up and realized Lonine was not in bed with him. He assumed she was asleep on the couch. When he woke up the following morning, however, he realized she was not in the house at all. Lonine left behind her hearing aid, so that's not good news. And as a matter of fact, immediately, it's like she got an argument. When anybody admits, oh, we got a little argument. It was a way bigger argument. And right now, the number one suspect already is the husband, right? He's right there. I mean, really? These are all things you can just say. Oh, wow. And yet she left her hearing aid at home, eyeglasses, medication, car, and other personal items. So she left every single thing she uses to survive. She walks outside. They get an argument. This is what he wants us to believe. I mean, I'm just saying, it could be true that she just wandered out. But let me just ask you this. They get an argument, and she walks out the door, unable to hear, see, or travel, or do anything at all. She doesn't have her hearing aid, her eyeglasses, her medication, her car, and other personal items. She also left her 2 young children. The evening she went missing, there was a severe snowstorm. Wow, that made it really convenient, though, didn't it? So she got buried under a snowdrift, never to be found again. She wouldn't have made it very far in those conditions, right? After Lonine's disappearance, her husband, who was also deaf, placed their young daughter up for adoption. Are you kidding me? I haven't even read these. That's what I'm saying. Are you kidding me? Seriously? Or are you kidding me? Hey, thank you so much, Adniram, who is scouting dude's, significant other. At least I hope so still. I mean, yeah. I was liking the fact that I was a matchmaker. Yeah, this is ridiculous right here. Yeah, I mean, just reading that don't you just go, oh god. Okay, let me see. The couple had separated before in late 1980 when she disappeared. The couple had separated before in late 1980. So here we go. He's a guy. They're separated. He knows he's going to have to pay child support for his wife. To his wife if she's still alive. But if he has his own kids, he's able to give them up for adoption. And now he's unburdened himself from anything. The couple had separated before in late 1980, and it almost sounds exactly like Tina Losser's story, to be honest with you. And when she disappeared, her husband initially did not report her as missing person. He said he assumed she left of her own accord and would eventually return in a blizzard, without her glasses, without her hearing aid, without her car, without any damn thing at all. Oh, that's so cool, Scout dude. Yep, she is the love of my life. Ah, man. The Love Boat, exciting and new. Yeah, we got to play that one. Where is that? Oh, yeah. The Love Boat. That's awesome. I think that's the best
Yep, she is the love
emoji
of my
there. I do need a polyester suit. We're expecting you. That's the next line, Ellen. I mean, doesn't it just like ooze? This is the husband has something to do with this one. I mean, maybe there's some mitigating circumstance that we'll come up with, but I mean, wow. After Lonine's disappearance, her husband, who was also deaf, placed their young daughter for adoption. I thought they had 2 children. Or wait, let me read that again. She also left her 2 young children. The evening she went missing, there was a severe snowstorm. The couple had separated before in late 1980, and when she disappeared, her husband initially did not report her as missing person. He said he assumed she left of her own accord and would eventually return. She has never been heard from again. Right. After Lonine's disappearance, her husband, who was also deaf, placed their young daughter, so maybe they had a son that he kept, for adoption. She is now grown, but is estranged from her biological father. Lonine and Clinton's daughter. So who's Clinton? Lonine? Oh, is that the husband's name? No, yeah, Clinton. Yeah. Lonine and Clinton's daughter is attempting to revive the investigation into her mother. Well, I should get a hold of her mother's disappearance and learn. You know what I should do is try to hook up Clinton with. I mean, God, these 2 stories are so parallel. It's ridiculous. Tina Losser. I've actually communicated with Tina Losser's daughter. Her one surviving daughter. I've communicated with multiple times on Facebook, and I was showing her, hey, let's see if we can get something done here. And the 2 stories are so similar, it's almost startling how similar they are. So Lonine and Clinton's daughter and it's the same thing. Tina Losser's daughter doesn't like her biological father whatsoever. She learned that Clinton has been arrested multiple times and that her parents' marriage was troubled. So let's see, what is this guy's name? Clinton Rogers out of Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's a common name. What do you think he is, about 80 at this point? Maybe 70? Now, such a kind of could be a common name, although his Clinton isn't really that common of a first name. Rogers is pretty common. Northwest, yeah. In the Little Corners area. I'm just gonna say PA. That was only one. Jeez. Ever. That's pretty weird. Clinton Randall Rogers. And that looks like that might be him. He's 74 years old. Sorry, I'm gonna do some. I gotta grab her name really quick out of here. God, how weird. They're so I mean, if you guys knew that other case as well as I do, you'd be kind of shocked at how similar these are. Really pretty bizarre. Okay, so we got Clinton Randall over here. Let's see what his criminal record is. Hopefully it has something. It doesn't have anything listed in there. Address history is huge, though. I mean, it goes back. He has 29 addresses. And that's usually a red flag to me, man. When I see there's somebody missing and somebody moves that much, that means they're worried about something. Especially when they're keep moving around in the same state over and over and over again. 2011. Let's see what he has for relatives. Laura Jean. She's not in there. Let me see if she shows up somehow. With the Lonine R. No, that's not it. Yeah, R. Rogers. Is that her name? No. It's not in there. Oh well. Gave it a whirl, as it were. I think it's great that you remember that one. I think a lot of the long-time freaks would remember it if they saw it. It was really interesting, especially where the car was parked. It would have had to go around the block. Well, I don't think so, because the other one was from well, let's see. Tina Losser is... Let me just do that one really quick. I mean, it's hard to believe that there'd be a serial killer person in these kind of cases. Delaware is where she lived, so it's probably not too far away from Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, I think it borders it, right? Yeah. So Tina Losser is there. Yeah. So remember, she was at the bank and then came over here, and then her car was found right there, but the street's one way. It had a flat tire, but she'd already gone to the gas station with her vehicle. So here's the part that's weird, everybody. So like when Tina Losser drove her vehicle to this AM/PM over here, she drove this way, went in and was getting gas and argued with somebody. When they found her car, it was right back here. So how would that have happened? Well, the only way it would happen is if she drove, the car left there, drove around and came around, because it's a one-way street going like this and like this. And I think this is even a one-way. So the car, after she got into, I mean, it's pretty bizarre, because after the other person might have got into her car and had her pull over, and there was another car waiting. Then they pulled over here and they slashed the tire to make it look like it's flat. Because, well, it is flat after they slash it. And then they put her in the car and they take her somewhere. Or they went and did something with her and then later drove the car back, parked it here, slashed the tire, and used her car as the transport vehicle. But it seems like that would have been something that they would have known using, by checking out the vehicle. So anyways, I didn't mean to get sidetracked there off of the... It's just pretty bizarre how similar they are. But it is adjoining states, so they... now let's see. Where is the Little Corns, Pennsylvania? Yeah, so it's not incredibly close there. As a matter of fact, it's on the other side of the state, so hundreds of miles. Alright, this is from 2021, so sort of a recent one. 40 years after the fact. Police are still searching for a missing Pennsylvania woman nearly 41 years after her disappearance, as the 41st anniversary of the disappearance of Lonine Ray Rogers nears. Pennsylvania State Police are asking for the public's help for any information that may lead to finding out what happened to Rogers. Rogers was last seen the night of January 7, 1981, at her home in Meadville. State police report Rogers was at work on January 6th. I mean, that's crazy because, I mean, Tina Losser, again, was also in January, right at the end of January. At her home in Meadville. State in the same year, too. That is pretty interesting. I mean, don't you think? A little bit. Except, here's what I don't understand is, they got an argument, and the husband in this case, I think the husband was involved in Tina Losser's case, for sure. And I think the husband is involved in this one because he's the one claiming they got in an argument and exited the house. Okay, and without any of her information. So to me, it's just, I don't really like coincidences, but the more I do this, the more of these crazy things you see that are coincidence that are actually, like there really are, Just like in the Brian Laundrie murder case, where because I had covered the other case of the two girls that were murdered there, the couple, that's how I knew that Brian Laundrie was there at the same time that they were murdered, right then. And they even talked to the same two people. And I thought, wow, how could those not be connected? And they weren't. I mean, isn't that amazing? Like, what do you think the odds are that a killer meets up with two other people that ended up being killed, but they had nothing to do with the killing of those two people? I mean, that's just, to me, it's almost shocking how crazy that coincidence was, but it really was. It had nothing, they weren't related at all. I know, I think so too, Zoza. I mean, I thought it was a pretty amazing find by myself. Like, it just, are you kidding me? I mean, they literally talked to the same people. And it turns out, he has nothing to do with Brian Laundrie. And it just shows you there can be just crazy, almost nonsensical coincidences out there. All right, State Police report Rogers was at work on January 6, 1981. She then picked up her two children from their babysitter that night. So she must have had another son or something. And then he kept the son, Clinton did maybe, I don't know. Her husband, Clinton Rogers, okay, so let's see. This is stuff that wasn't in the Charlie Project. She was at work, and she then picked up her two children from their babysitter that night. Okay, so you picture she's somewhere else picking up the kids. Her husband, Clinton Rogers, reported being at home with Lonine Rogers and their two children on the evening of January 6, 1981. Later that night, Clinton and Lonine Rogers had an argument. So here's the thing. Anytime somebody admits, somebody goes missing, I would not say every time, but 90% of the time at least, when somebody says, oh yeah, we got in an argument, it was way bigger deal. And their two children on the evening of January. Okay, so later that night, Clinton and Lonine Rogers had an argument at their Medville home. Let me see where Medville is. Oh, it's in Medville? Oh, we might be able to get this one. Hold on. So that's a little tiny town here. Let me just find one out of those 29 addresses. Yeah. So one of his relatives lives in Medville. And maybe that was when... Doesn't look like one of his addresses say Medville on them. They all say... And they only go back to like 2013. 29 addresses since 2009, really? So this little town right here, and again, that's over on the western part of Pennsylvania there. Clinton Rogers reports he last saw Lonine on January 7th, 1981 at 12:45 a.m. Boy, he's got that time memorized. When he went to bed. He reported to police that he woke up in the early morning hours on January 7th and saw his wife was not home. Her boots, jeans, and coat were gone. However, her purse, hearing aids, glasses, car key... See, that's like the huge red flag right there, that those items are sitting there. And 2 children were left behind. According to police, Clinton Rogers reported he was not initially worried. Let's see. Let me ask you guys something. If you were at home and you got in an argument with your husband and there was a blizzard outside and your husband was very hard of hearing, could barely hear at all, couldn't see worth a damn, and they walked outside the door in the middle of the night, would you be worried at all? They walk outside without their glasses, without their hearing aid, without their car, without anything else other than what they had on right at that moment. Yeah, so the thing is, yeah, I mean, I think if it was a blizzard and my wife went outside because she was angry and took off, I'd be worried from the second she stepped out the door, okay? According to police, Clinton Rogers reported he was not initially worried and did not contact police right away. Also of note, there was a severe storm in the area that night. State police report none of her close friends or relatives have had any contact with her since her disappearance. There has also been no activity for a social security number. Right, because she's not alive and he killed her that night. I mean, very likely, okay? That's my allegedly. That seems to be... I mean, just think about it, you guys. So she wandered off in the snow. Let's see what it looks like in this town, I guess. I mean, it is sort of rural. And there's woods out here and everything. So, you know. Is it possible during the blizzard, without her glasses, her hearing aid, or any other item? I guess, 1 in a trillion, right? When Lonine Rogers went missing in 1981, she was 29 years old, 5'5", 140 pounds, with gray eyes and long sandy brown hair. She cannot speak fluently and is nearly completely deaf. She also has freckles, pierced ears, and no tonsils. At the time of her disappearance, she may have been wearing a navy blue pea coat, blue jeans, and high brown boots. Anyone with information on this case is asked to contact Trooper Kevin Geibel. Yeah, so if she, a navy blue pea coat, blue jeans, and high brown boots. So maybe she had clothes on, or the person took those items to make it look like she had those items on. Yeah, I just think it's, Well, you have to admit everything's possible if there is a shot. Like, is it possible an alien spacecraft beamed her up and took her to a distant star system? Well, I guess, if you believe that there's life on other planets, and they've been 1 million years more advanced than we are, they've developed propulsion mechanisms that could fly to the planet Earth, and have developed the technology to beam somebody up and abduct people on their spacecraft, well, I guess you have to say it is possible. All right. Is there another one on this one? Yeah, one more article. And this one I included, there's a 3-part podcast series on it. So maybe if, and I think this is done by the daughter, or I think part in it. It's in the description of the video. Are you guys still here? I haven't seen anybody type for like 10 minutes. You guys all have so much chatty stuff to talk about. Come on. So it might not point to the husband at all, but I'd be shocked if it doesn't. So here we go. Lonine Ray Rogers was 29 years old, living in Pennsylvania with their husband Clinton Bud Rogers. The couple had a 1-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. Almost totally deaf, Lonine wore a hearing aid and was unable to speak fluently. Bud was also deaf, according to her daughter, Allison. Lonine was caring and loving and always very empathetic, helping others. Bud was reportedly abusive. Well, who's Bud? Oh, it's Clinton Bud. Okay. Bud was reportedly abusive, and Lonine was trying to leave him. Exactly, I mean, that the Tina Losser thing had something really similar. Allison believes money was the main point of contention. It was a very troubled marriage from the start. I think money was the root of a lot of their arguments. After spending the day at work, Lonine picked up her kids from their babysitter on January 6, 1981. The family spent the evening together at their Hayfield Township home near Route 98 and 198. Let's see where that is. There's 98 and there's 98. So it is 98. Oh, right here. So their home is one of these right here. So home is somewhere in this little area right here. That's 98 and 198. So it's pretty wooded around there. But no. Yeah, and by the way, don't forget, everybody, if you want to get the notebook right here, you get 2 freak pens with it, the black and red one. You just send $25 on the PayPal. It also helps support the channel, by the way. And you get the awesome notebook. I think everybody likes that. The new one's thicker than the one before. And I usually write something in it. It's hard to come up with a million different things to say because, you know, it's just... All right. After spending the day at work, Lonine picked up her kids from their babysitter on January 6th, 1981. I think I'm going to get higher quality pens at some point too. The family spent the evening together at their Hayfield Township home near Route 98 and 198. The couple argued that night, and Bud went to bed at 12:45. He woke up a couple hours later and noticed Lonine was not next to him in bed. He assumed she was sleeping on the couch, but when Bud got up in the morning, he realized she wasn't in the house. There was a severe snowstorm overnight, and Lonine's coat, jeans, and boots were missing. However, she had left behind her hearing aid, eyeglasses, car, and unspecified medication she had been taking at the time. Bud did not report his wife missing. Oh, come on. Jesus. Come on. You gotta admit, like, are you kidding me? Bud did not report his wife missing. He said she had left voluntarily, likely with another man. Right, so in the middle of an argument, in the middle of a snowstorm and a blizzard, without her glasses, without her hearing aid, without anything that she would need, she likely left with another man at 12:45 in the middle of the night in a blizzard, with no glasses and an inability to hear a damn thing. That's ridiculous. She never would. How is this guy not just thrown in prison for being Mr. Obvious? So we get in an argument over money. That's what we usually argue about. It's about money. But when she stormed out the door at 12:45, she likely left with another man without her hearing aid or her glasses or any other thing. She never would have left us with. She never would have left us with him, knowing how abusive he was to her. He was violent. He was a bad blizzard. It was a bad blizzard. So that's the guy right there. Let's see. It was a bad blizzard, very frigid temperatures. She wouldn't have just left, and she left her hearing aid, her purse. Don't forget the glasses. Lonine loved ones have not heard from her since, and there has been no activity on her social security number. After his wife's sudden disappearance, Bud gave Allison up for adoption. How come they never mentioned the other? Is this the 1222 article? Oh, we'll have to go look at that one in a second. Let's see. After being adopted by my guidance counselor, I didn't want to look at the case. I wanted to pretend that I was living a normal life, a normal child with no crazy background. Allison quickly learned that her estranged father had been arrested several times, mostly for minor crimes such as breaking and entering. She also says her mother's case wasn't dealt with properly at times. An example of this was an interview with Bud that never happened because authorities could not find an interpreter. She had the same sort of issues with Tina Losser. Ginger snaps. Corn pop. Yeah, I know who said that. God, that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't care what. It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. That whole thing about corn pop. Wow. Allison quickly learned that her estranged father had been arrested several times, mostly for minor crimes such as breaking and entering. She also says that her mother's case wasn't dealt with properly at times. An example of this was an interview with Bud that never happened because authorities could not find an interpreter. There were a lot of balls that were dropped, leads that weren't followed. I was honestly appalled, and I decided my mother deserves better than that, and I decided to fight. Allison believes Bud is responsible for her mother's disappearance. However, state investigators, Nicole Ludwig, says he is not a suspect. Really? Well, you have to say that out loud. He is listed as a person of interest. Okay. Yeah, okay. What that means is we can't force them to talk to us for this investigation. He's been reached out to several times,
He's denied or not gotten back to us regarding this. And interestingly, both Allison and Lugwood believe the local deaf community has information that could incriminate Bud. I know the deaf community is very tight-knit. They really, yeah, and that's kind of the same thing with, again, Tina Losser. They really don't trust hearing people for the most part, and they stick together. Allison has a Facebook page dedicated to her mother's case and a GoFundMe. Not only are Lonine's loved ones desperate for answers, but they would also like to give her a proper burial. Lonine Ray Rogers has been missing for 41 years. If alive, she's now 70 years old. Let's see what this says.
Now the latest installment of RM Go. Now her Cleveland family is struggling to find answers. 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski.
WKYC.com.
January 6, 1981. As the story goes, the snow was falling in Erie, Pennsylvania, when a mother of 2 abruptly left her
Man, I got to learn how to talk like those guys, you know? Her life was filled with struggles, fight up to the moment she disappeared. If I could read, though, right? Her life filled with struggles right up to the moment she disappeared 40 years ago. Now her Brunswick family is struggling to find answers. Tonight at 11.
husband and children in the middle of the night. It's a decision that contradicts everything Allison Diker knew about her mother, Lonine Rogers.
She was caring and loving and always very empathetic and helping others.
Lonine, who was nicknamed Lonnie, was just 28 years
Eugenie.
old at the time of her disappearance. The deaf woman also left behind her hearing aids and her wallet. Her husband says they had an argument, then he went to bed. And when he woke up, Lonnie was gone.
It was a very troubled marriage from the start. I think money, was the root of a lot of their arguments.
Lonnie was never heard from again, and Allison's father gave her up for adoption.
After being adopted by my guidance counselor, I didn't want to look at the case. I wanted to pretend that I was living a normal life, a normal child with no crazy background.
But all of that changed this year, when Allison, who lives in Brunswick, began investigating her mother's disappearance. She headed east to Erie to
Heard was kind of shocking. And what I had, this is a cold case. And what I had discovered was kind of shocking to me, that there were a lot of balls that were dropped, leads that weren't followed.
One of those leads, she says, an interview with her father that never happened because the police could not find an interpreter. Her father, like her mother, is also deaf. 3 News also reached out to him, but we have not received a response. Needless to say, the meeting left her with more questions than answers.
I was honestly appalled, and I decided that
Carrie.
my mother deserved better than that, and I decided to fight.
So she created this Facebook group called Justice for Lonine. And in just 2 months, more than 1,000 members have joined.
It feels like, for once with this story, I'm not alone, I have an army.
Allison also hired a private investigator, and she says she's not giving up. When I asked her why now, she said, why not?
The more focus on this case, the more pressure on the police, and the more pressure on the people who know something.
Now, Allison also believes that answers may lie within the deaf community, which is tight-knit. A spokesperson for the Pennsylvania State Police tells me because this is an active investigation, suspect information...
Right, active investigation, 41 years later. Old home video pictures and newspaper clipping is just about all Allison Duker has left to remember her mother. I was 5, so I don't remember a lot. She was literally gone without a trace. Last seen at her home on the night of January 6, 1986. Isn't it the same day as Schnee Oberholzer? I mean, not the year and everything, but Roger vanished during a reported blizzard in Crawford County, Hayfield Township. Everything I've heard about her was that she was funny and she had a heart of gold. She was known as Lonnie and was 28 years old at the time of her disappearance. Lonnie was also deaf, a young mother of 2, and desperately trying to leave a bad marriage. I believe my father is responsible, and I believe that people know something that might help to convict him. This is the first television interview about her mother's case. She alleges what many others do, that her father, Clinton Bud Rogers, knows something or had something to do with Lonnie's disappearance. I mean, it's just so obvious, you know. I feel stable enough to fight for her now, where I didn't until now. I really was just trying to just get through life on my own, but now I feel like her resilience is within me, and I want to fight for her. Bud Rogers is also deaf. State police said his last known address was Clymer, Pennsylvania. He has been interviewed multiple times and claims he woke up that morning to his wife gone. He never reported her missing. He is not officially a suspect in the case. Well, he is, you know. How could he not be? You know, this is one of those ones that's so obvious. I think someone knows what happened to her, said Ludwig. They might not want to talk about it, which is understandable, but we're just looking to bring justice to her and the family. Let's see. She never would have left us with him knowing how abusive he was. He was violent. It was a blizzard. I think that's from the other article. Where's the... there was a face... There it is. I'm going to add this to my folder here. There you go. Well, I think that one's pretty obvious. I think I'm going to try to reach out to the daughter, though, see if she wants to talk about it or come on or something. I don't know. I just time people out to get rid of all their comments when people are arguing calla lily. Why are you asking a question about that? Why don't you go do your own thing, okay? You know what I hate is when people come in and ask questions like that have nothing to do with anything, trying to draw attention to themselves. So now we're going to put you on timeout. All right? So you can go do your own thing, and if you feel like coming back and being part of the actual channel talking about the cases, that'd be awesome. I don't have time to, you know, it's just, yeah, disturbing. Guess you can, I don't know, see it maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're communicating on the side. Let's see. Yeah, that's a pretty new account. Pretty new. Well, that case is obvious, but I think it'd be cool to get the daughter on. What do you guys think? All right, so now we're going to be switching over to another case. That one went longer than I was thinking. It got really interesting. All right, here's another case from 1985. Shirley Badger Trenner. Yeah, it could be the same person. Yeah. Reward offered for information in Clearwater women's murder. This is back in February 20th, 1986 newspaper. Even though it happened in, well, I think I didn't date that one right. Let me put it back in the correct order. So it should have been 1986 02 20. All right, so now that should be, there you go. This is the one that should have been first right here. Clearwater stabbing victim identified as computer store clerk. All right, this one is in, looks like Florida. Pinellas County Sheriff's officials released the identity Sunday of a woman found stabbed to death Saturday at a Clearwater computer store. She was 61-year-old Shirley Trenner of, let's see, 106 Suemar Street, S-U-E, yeah, U-E-M-A-R Street, D-U-N-E-D-N. There it is. God. Yeah, it's 1985. What's the deal? So I guess it's on here somewhere. I don't know where 106 is, but that's that's got to be the street there. It's in the right town. I think. Yeah. Guess we go down to the street and look at the numbers on it. That's 11. Yeah, so they might probably changed how the numbering system is. Unless it was a completely different street back then. But anyways, Miss Trenner was an employee of the Learn a Bit About Computers. Yeah, I mean, PCs came out in like 1979, 1980. You know, remember the Apple II Plus was like 1980. So there was already stuff going on. 3178 US 19 North. Okay. So this is where the computer store was. So somewhere around here was the computer store, which was called Learn a Bit About Computers Store. That's the name of the company. Yeah, learn a bit about computers. Yeah, that sort of makes sense. Because back then, that wasn't really a big deal. Her body was found about 6 p.m. by store owner Robert Wine, sheriff's officials said. According to Wine, Miss Trenner's job Saturday included opening the store at 10 a.m. and closing it at 5 p.m. Wine said he usually checked the store in the evenings. Officials would not comment on the time of death, but said the victim suffered multiple stab wounds. Sheriff spokesman Lieutenant John Baciccio said investigators think Mrs. Trenner's assailant drove her Ford Granada from the scene and then abandoned it at the Courtney Campbell Parkway, about a half-mile east of McMullen Booth Road. Let's see where that is. McMullen. Okay, so she lived here, east of that. Courtney Campbell Parkway. Oh, that's what I was thinking. So McMullen Road. Okay, so it's right here, and then an east. And they said Ford Granada was seen and then abandoned it on Courtney Campbell Parkway about a half-mile east of McMullen Booth Road. So it's the other direction. Yeah, shit. Well, that's a bridge, though. McMullen Booth Road, yeah. In Clearwater, police found the car and abandoned it on the Courtney Campbell Parkway at a half-mile east of McMullen Booth Road. Now let's see, how far does a half-mile make it across the, you know? That's long, man. Jeez. Half mile's about right there, so it hadn't even made it. It was just abandoned right off the side, like right here. That makes sense. Kind of like that car. So they likely parked. There must have been 2 people or something on this. I know we're doing the reading, you guys, but we're getting in this mode again. After we did the auctioneer thing. Bomb. Her abandoned vehicle was about right there. And she lived somewhere over in this area, but was at work here, and so somebody shot her and then drove and then dumped the cars closer to her house. They probably lived over in this area. Maybe it was a time traveler and knew that the computer industry was going to take off. But she said investigators are looking for a man seen between 9 and 11 a.m. Saturday in the vicinity of the computer store. The man is described as white, in his mid-20s, 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, with dark hair, and is combed back. He was last seen wearing an orange t-shirt and blue jeans. Anyone with information about the case can call Sheriff Detective Robert Rhodes. That was back then, of course. This is 1985, and then that was on the 5th of August. The shooting happened on the 3rd. The Pinellas County Sheriff's Office is asking for the help in finding a man seen near a business where an elderly woman was stabbed to death Saturday. The body of Shirley Trenner, 61, of 1061. Oh, now we got the number. That makes more sense. So it was 1061. Maybe I just read it wrong the first time. 1061 Sioux Mere Road. What's going on? This was the same place I just had a minute ago. Din, Florida. No, God. I'll just look for it manually. I think we were close. 1061. Well, she stabbed at the store. I just like to mark everything down that's markable. Now 116, that's the other direction. Let me go right to the beginning, right here. Now we're getting there. It's on the other side of the street, over here. Maybe right there, maybe? 1035. There it is, right there. Yep, so that's where she lived. Man, the energy is just... So thank you, Azah, on PayPal. Let's see. Okay, let me get back to this. Her body was found the evening. Got it. Okay, investigators think Mrs. Trenner's assailant drove her Ford Granada from the scene and then abandoned it. So detectives are looking for a suspect described as... Okay, we got that already. Let me get to the next article here. This one's also on the 6th here. A little longer, has more information. Thank you, Nikki Zibs. Police seeking motive in woman's murder. Authorities were still trying to determine Monday who murdered a 61-year-old woman working alone as a computer business Saturday. Why Shirley Trenner, described as a very trusting person, was stabbed to death is part of the mystery. Pinellas County Sheriff detectives were talking to owners and employees at business at Country Village Plaza.
Ocean Wave. Anybody?
Let's see where that is. I hope so, Nikki. Country Village Plaza. Yep. Nope. So this is where it was kind of described. I wonder if it's this right here. In this. Looks almost abandoned at this point. So it's probably in that mall there. Pinellas County Sheriff detectives were talking to owners and employees at the business. It was, well, they actually have an address there at 2240. Let me see if I can find it this time. 2240 US 19 North. That's got the same spot. Let's see what it looked like back in time. Maybe it looked totally different. Looks like a drive-in movie theater or something up there. Hey, thanks, Zozo.
Nikki Wave. Ocean Wave. Let's go.
Let's see. Pinellas County Sheriff detectives were talking to owners. Okay, it was Miss Trenner's job to open the Learn a Bit About Computer store at 10 that morning and close it at 5 that evening. Sheriff officials say that someone entered the store that morning, locked the front door, and then confronted Mrs. Trenner. They believe Mrs. Trenner died sometime before noon and stabbed repeatedly in the chest. The front door remained locked until that's personal right there. Until store owner Robert Wine went by at about 6 p.m. and discovered Miss Trenner's body. Although robbery may have been the motive for the assailant, to enter the store, said sheriff officials. Wine is not yet completed and in inventory to determine whether cash or computers were stolen. Elsie Alvarez, owner of the neighboring Manolo Spanish restaurant, said that she opened her business at 11 a.m. but did not notice anything unusual. Mrs. Trenner occasionally ate at the restaurant, she said. Mrs. Alvarez said that with the noise of the restaurant, radio fans, and kitchen equipment, those working inside are unable to hear any noises. Eileen Dean and at Coin Laundry next to the restaurant, those are usually still in business. Let's see. Laundromat. There's one there and here, but it's not right there. Thanks, Adniram. Although robbery may have been the motive. Okay, Elsie Alvarez, we already did that part. Let's see. Eileen Dean at Coin Laundry next to the restaurant said she opened the place shortly before 8 a.m. Saturday. Sometime before closing at 6 p.m., she recalled that one of Mrs. Trenner's daughters came in looking for her mother. She said that she hadn't seen her mother since 9 that morning, and she was missing. Joan Mandano, who owns the nearby consignment boutique, said she had known Mrs. Trenner for about 4 years. The two women often chatted about their children. Mrs. Mandano said she was a real good-natured person, a very trusting person. Mrs. Mandano also said that her shop was robbed a year ago by a man who demanded cash and held up one of her clerks at knife point. No one was injured. Neighbors of the Trenners said the family had lived in the Sumar Street for 2 years, but none of the neighbors contacted said they knew the family well. Born in Danville, Vermont, Mrs. Trenner moved to Dunedin 6 years ago from Connecticut. She was a vice president of the Dansbury Sheet Metal Corporation. And now here it says survivors again. So I guess that's what the guy looked like. The Pinellas County Sheriff's Department has released a drawing of a man who may have murdered a Clearwater computer store clerk. The body of Shirley Trenner, 61, of Dunedin, was found at the Learn a Bit About Computer Store at 3178. Now it's 3178. When do they get these? They're never the same. Let me try that one. 3178. US 19. Oh, I think I did type that in already. Yeah, it's this right there. No, there he is. Alright. And then... Oh, God. In 1986, this is the one. Says, Shirley Trenner was found stabbed to death in a computer store, and they now have a reward of 2,000 whole dollars. Boy, I bet that really got people jumping. Her body was found the evening of August 3rd by the owner of the Learn a Bit computer store at 3178 US 19 North. Mrs. Trenner had opened the store at 10 a.m. and was to close at 5 p.m. Investigators think Miss Trenner assailant drove her Ford Granada from the scene and then abandoned it on the Courtney Campbell Parkway where police found it that night. They're looking for a suspect described as white, in his mid-20s, 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, with dark hair combed back. He was wearing an orange t-shirt and blue jeans. So here is the... I think I'll save the other two for tomorrow. This one says Shirley Trenner. This is the Project Cold case where the image came from. So let's see if they have any extra information. I guess that's her right there. Her wedding in 1951. Shirley Trenner's fascination for the new and exotic had always been obvious to those around her, whether it was owning one of the first microwaves or trying new cuisine, excuse me. It's so small. Let me get this bigger. There we go. Thanks, not your average chick. Her interest in technology led her to work at a computer store in her retired years, but no one ever could have known she would be senselessly attacked and murdered while opening the store. In 1985, Trenner was taken at 61 years old from her friends and family when someone entered the store, learned a bit about computers in Palm Harbor, Florida, Pinellas County, attacked her and stole her car. The stolen vehicle turned up later at Courtney Campbell Causeway. A witness was able to identify a suspect. According to the report, the suspect was a white male, mid-20s, 5'10 to 6 feet, 170 pounds, with dark hair and an orange t-shirt and jeans. Wow, that sounds kind of dumb. There was not an excess of evidence besides a possible suspect since then. The case has gotten colder and colder until a new detective was assigned to the case. He's made more progress in 6 months than they've made in 32 years, said Cynthia McCorkindale, daughter of Trenner. McCorkindale was 28 years old when she got the news about her mother. Now 32 years later, she's almost 61. I am the exact age my father was when she died. I mean, almost to the month. So that's a very sobering thing to me when I think about that. That is sort of a weird thing, isn't it? Trenner's family wasn't necessarily a conventional one. She had 4 daughters and moved around quite a bit during their young years. You know, we just weren't traditional kind of family. We were more like the Simpsons than Leave It to Beaver in some ways, or maybe Malcolm in the Middle. We were different and kind of eccentric, really. Even though life could be rocky in their early years, they eventually settled as a family in Brookfield, Connecticut. There, her daughters learned how to be self-sufficient and had the opportunity to sail and fly in airplanes on the weekends with their stepfather, Fred. Trenner moved down to Florida in her later years, but swore, "I don't want to be one of those retired people who sit at the pool and tell people about my most recent operation." Our lives got happier as times passed, McCorkindale said. When we got older, she was definitely a good friend to us. They knew they could always call their mother and refer to her as the hub, or the place where they could all meet, McCorkindale said. Her mother was always one to leap into life without looking back, loved to try new things, and fostered a sense of adventure in her daughters. In light of my mother's penchant for the new and different, we never had a real Christmas tree because that was so messy. But the minute they came out again in the 70s, We had the aluminum Christmas trees, which was silver and you assembled. And then there was something called a color wheel that had a light bulb behind it that you spun. Plugged it in, and it had 4 colors that would reflect on the tree. McCorkindale said, again, she loved convenience. I swear I remember when polyester became popular, and she would pull it out of the dryer and go, look, you don't even have an iron. You don't even have to iron it. Attention to Trenner's case has greatly decreased over the last year increased over the last year. Oh, hey, thanks, LM. As in Element Open.
Thank you, freaks. 2 hearts.
And by the way, I don't know who the person I timed out. I was just reading the comments, and they were just nothing about anything that we were talking about. So I just, you time them out, gets rid of all their comments, and it was just all arguing and stuff like that. So I just was kind of like, it's not a big deal. But when I do something, don't be like, gosh, Gray, why'd you... Just, it is what it is, It's not like they were permanently removed or anything like that. Hey, thanks, Simple Life Dave. Yeah. Attention to Trenner's case has greatly increased over the last year because of a letter McCorkindale sent to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. I said, you know what? I don't have 30 more years for this, McCorkindale said. All I ever wanted was for somebody, the Sheriff's Department, to pay attention, and that just wasn't happening. Since then, PCSO has made a special cold case unit with 2 detectives. Their entire job is to spend their time looking into cold cases. They never have to go out on a fresh homicide, McCorkindale said. Overall, McCorkindale and her family is hoping for more advancement in the case. There must be something... a knife stabbings usually leave some sort of DNA behind. There's rarely a day that goes by, even after 32 years, that I don't think about my mother. I guess what I would say to someone who is just freshly experiencing it is, it's like having one of your appendages ripped off, like your arm or your leg ripped off your body, and then over time it subsides. But there's always going to be, always, a part of you, a part of your thought process and brain space that is going to be there forever. So if you have any information, call the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office at 727-582-6200. Yeah, that sucks. Didn't even get to enjoy sort of like the later years, All right, maybe I got one more. Let me see how long. Well, this one's really short, so. Again, you can see why, immediately you know why it's not a long story, right? This is in Missouri, Brenda Joyce Smith. I think she had a couple kids. And so all I have is 2 articles, and I couldn't find any more. And it might be because Brenda Smith is somewhat common. But this is 1987 in May. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought she was really pretty. So, let's see, where was this? Yeah, right here. It says, a fire that killed a young mother and injured her 3 daughters Wednesday was caused by an inflammable liquid. Wouldn't it be flammable? That had been poured through a mall slot in the front door of their apartment in the city's Tiffany neighborhood. The dead woman's relatives told police that a neighbor, a 74-year-old woman, had plotted to kill her. Firefighters found the body of Brenda Smith, 30. I mean, look how sad this is, everybody. Huddled over her 3-month-old daughter under a window in her upstairs apartment. So, let's get that. Brenda Joyce Smith, 1987. Okay. And the address at the time was yes, I'm confused what happened right there. At 3826 Blaine Avenue. Yeah, I was thinking that Flora too, but it gets too cliche to keep talking about the Flora fire. Like, you know, people that are into the Delphi case are into the Delphi case. They pretend that they're interested in the Flora fire, just so that they can feel sort of morally like, oh yeah, I was, it's sort of interesting, but there's no information on it whatsoever for people to actually try to figure something out. It's just, it is what it is, So I think there's a lot of like virtue signaling people. Yeah, it's hard to say what this one was. This is, I mean, I covered the Flora fire one time. Kind of led to some other arson situation that was pretty weird. But unfortunately, there's just almost no information on it. So let's see if we can go down to... Come on. Jeez, let me save it before it crashes. Come on, let me save it. It's gonna crash, I can tell. Come on. I know. I think whenever I say that I think the family might be part of it, people get really angry in the floor. So I don't even cover that. It's just a case that somebody might solve someday, and that's about it. That's all I can say about it. So I guess it was one of these right here. So, firefighters found the body of Brenda Smith, 30, huddled over her 3-month-old daughter under a window in her upstairs apartment at 3826 Blaine Avenue. The infant, Mallory Thomas, was in extremely critical condition, so the baby that she was protecting, at St. John's Mercy Medical Center with third-degree burns over 60% of her body. Apparently, she was trying to make it to the window with her baby before she was overcome. So she was just trying to make it to the window and she couldn't, so she covered her baby. Said Fire Department Battalion Chief Frank Schaefer. If she had made it to the window, she would have been safe out on the balcony. Smith's two other daughters, Tanya Smith, 13, and Sana Smith, 12, jumped out a side window. I mean, it really is, kind of similar to the Flora fire, except people live. Were in satisfactory condition in the burn unit at Barnes Hospital. Schaefer said the front door where the fire started was the only means of normal escape. Police activated a special priority squad to investigate the case. Detectives said they had some strong leads Wednesday, but had yet to make an arrest. Among those being questioned was the neighbor, who the victim's family said had wanted Brenda Smith to die in an affidavit. It said lie, though. The affidavit was to be used in a suit. No, wait, to lie. She wanted Brenda Smith to lie in an affidavit. The affidavit was to be used in a suit the neighbor had filed against the owners of the apartment building. The affidavit was to have been given Wednesday by Smith. The suit involved a leg or hip injury sustained by the neighbor in a fall. Smith's mother, Ora Pearl Smith, said in an interview that the woman had threatened to kill her daughter unless she testified. Brenda was warned that people were plotting to kill her, the mother said. Brenda Smith's sister, Alinda Lakine, said the neighbor was responsible. I can't believe someone is this vindictive to take an innocent life and leave a little baby on a respirator. I can't believe someone could be this greedy. Another woman, who lives in the 2-story, 4-unit brick building, apparently was the first person to discover the fire, said Ora Lee Iron 74, who also lives in the building. I heard her hollering and said, "What's the matter?" Iron said. I got a mattress and put it beside the house for one of the girls to jump on. One of the daughters jumped onto the mattress, authorities said, but the other already had jumped or partly fallen while trying to climb down a street. Iron said she had asked one of the daughters about her mother, who was still trapped inside. The girl said she couldn't wake her mother up. A man from next door rushed over and tried to fight the fire with a garden hose. Irons described Brenda Smith as a very quiet person who didn't go out much. Shaper said that when firefighters arrived shortly after midnight Tuesday, people at the scene had screamed that the mother and baby were inside the apartment. Privates Wally Wigger and Arnold Perry of Engine Company 14 put on special breathing equipment and found Smith's body and the baby. Shaper and St. Louis police bombing and arson squad detectives described the fire as a very fast, very intense blaze. After a liquid, probably gasoline, had been poured through the small slot and ignited, the stairway served as a chimney, spreading the fire and smoke quickly, explained Detective Steve Sirocco. It produced a lot of smoke, then snuffed itself out because it had used up all the oxygen. The fire and the smoke damage was confined to Brenda Smith's apartment. Weird. Now it's like, what? You know? What does this mean? St. Louis police officials say a fear of voodoo hexes is keeping neighbors from talking about an arson last week that killed Brenda Smith and her 3-month-old daughter. On Monday, the arson task force, the police department, offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for the fire. The unusually high reward was put forward in part because an investigation of the fire early last Wednesday in a 4-family flat had been hampered by the fears of voodoo hexes. What the hell? Police are afraid to talk to us, said Lieutenant George Holliker, commander of the Crimes Against Property Division. He reported that a large X, the voodoo hex sign for the rubbing out of an enemy, had been scratched on the door of Smith's second-floor apartment. Police identified a 74-year-old woman in the neighborhood as a chief practitioner. Isn't that the same one? But in an interview with a reporter Monday, the woman said her neighbors were imagining things. I don't know nothing about nothing like that, she said, Monday afternoon. All I do is read the Bible and pray and make herb teas. The woman said Brenda Smith had come to her door upset the Saturday before the fire, saying someone had marked an X on her door. She thought someone was out to get her. Police say that the neighbor also had a dispute with Smith over an affidavit, so that is the chief practitioner. The neighbor wanted her to sign in regard to a $450,000 personal injury suit filed against Midtown Medical Center. Holliker said the 74-year-old woman had sold potions to many neighborhood residents, including Smith. He said several of Smith's shoes in the apartment were filled with dimes, a common voodoo ploy to ward off evil spirits, and that her front window still was lined with 6 objects, 6 being the number of the devil. This is crazy, right? I'd say she was a believer, Holliker said. The 74-year-old neighbor maintained that she was a friend of Smith and that during the fire she had helped rescue Smith's older daughter, Tanya Ward, 13, and Sina Ward, 12, by dragging a mattress below their window. The woman's 16-year-old granddaughter said some neighbors had been gossiping about her grandmother for months, spurred on by a woman in her 60s who had shared her grandmother's home for about 30 years. The fire had been started by pouring gasoline in the small slot of the apartment and igniting it. Smith and her infant daughter were found huddled near a window. Smith was dead from burns and smoke inhalation, and the girl, who suffered third-degree burns over 60% of her body, died early Sunday. Oh, that sucks. She probably would have had a miserable life anyways, you know. Tanya and Sina Ward, who were briefly hospitalized, are staying with a grandmother. Yeah, it would be cool if people, I mean, these kind of cases nobody ever talks about. But like the Flora fire, it would be great if people actually, I covered it once a long time ago, and, it's just people wanted me to do it and everything. But it seems like people sort of try to lump it in with Delphi just to kind of, I'm not even sure why, I mean, it's some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen. They're totally unrelated cases that are completely different set of facts, and it makes that one really hard to, there's no information on the Flora fire other than this is what happened to them. That's it. There's no leads or anything to look at or anything. Like in this case, that one lady seems like a pretty good, the 74-year-old at the time would have been a good suspect. Well, I guess we do have one more I could do. But man, we already got 2 hours and 52 minutes, and it's just... Who are you talking about? Zozo. The neighbor? Huh? That's probably this same, I think it's this one right here, right? Yeah, well, it's this one right here. Oh yeah, see, it's even got the 4 units like they were saying. What did they say her number, the number was? 3826. Yeah, I think they're all that. They're just different numbers. No, it's one of these two. So it's this one. Yeah, there it is. So she lives in the fourth one over. This one right there. 3826. It's in St. Louis. Well, I think I'll save the other one for tomorrow. I've already got 3 hours, and let me put that. Let me cut it out of here. I've got a couple for tomorrow now already. Okay. So thank you to Sarita, K-Me, Caligal 3, Kathy Friedmaker, Susie Clue, Allie Cake, let's see, Christy Kazi, Jamie, K-Me gifted a membership, thank you. Woobles 66, Kelsey 206, Jody H, Jamie, Claudia Neubauer, CG, Hamilton Blue Star Robertson, Jeffrey, hold on, Hushauer, Jeffrey Hushauer, Lisa Murphy, LM, Cindy J, Tina Susser, Marlene, Don G, John Dunn, Jamie, It Was Me, Irene Cipher, Renee H, Kelly Snyder, Simple Life Days, Georgina Stoliker, Carly S, Nikki Zubs, Susie Clue, Daphne, Your Gypsy, Peter, Annabelle Stealth, Dan Carr, said severed pianist found in coal mine. John Dunn, Brenda Ivy, Jody H, Lisa Valenzuela, Susie Q Reynolds, Tawny Lee, Lori Will, Elaine, Scoutin' Dude, Adnaran, Scoutin' Dude, Eugenie, Nikki Zubs, Zozo, Adnaran, Not Your Average Chick, LM, and Simple Life Days. So I can give out a notebook tonight. So there we go. $25 value. Oh, and also thanks to LM on, I think it was, I don't know, yeah, no, it was on PayPal, it was Aza Suader. And then also yesterday LM did a PayPal, but I've got the, that's already in the spin. Yeah. All right. Oh, you got the new one? All right, cool. Nice. Yeah, nobody bought one. Nobody's bought it, those notebooks for a couple days. Kind of struggling on the PayPal front over here. Yeah, we've said that 1,000 times, though. So. I mean, that's how many times have I said on the show the race of the people, the newspapers didn't cover it at all. I mean, probably 100, maybe 200 times I've said that. All right, let's see. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. All right, here we go. It's for the notebook. Oh, look at that. How cool is that? Jeffrey Hushauer.
What are the odds, huh?
Good night, D. Sims.
Oh, it is about that. It's 100%. I used to not even realize that, but I've been covering. It's absolutely a fact that black murder victims around the country, the coverage of their cases is so shitty. I mean, I've done cases where it's like, a woman was strangled in her house. There were one little article because it was interesting. Like it was something that should have been interesting, except she wasn't blonde and blue-eyed. Because if that was a case, it would have been an article, 3 articles a day for the first week, and then an article every day for another week, and then maybe once every week, and then da-da-da-da. If it's a black person, they have like the article in a little side thing, and you read it, and it's like, huh? There's only been a couple cases where we're big like that, where they had enough, tremendous, not tremendous, but more coverage than normal. And it's a real thing, so, it's not even debatable. Well, Gray, it was just because. Yeah, you got to go see it. It's crazy. I've covered, and the reason we know that is on this channel we cover those cases. We've covered hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of cases actually on this channel, and that's why my channel suffers because of it. If I just did the really famous, cool, neato cases every second of every day, I'd be doing a lot better. But it's just sort of one of those things where you sort of start feeling icky after you keep covering the same thing. And there's some cases that, like the Murdoch trial, everything's different every single day, so it was interesting to me. And the Kohberger thing was interesting while he was still missing, and then when they found him for a while. But after a while, they were just, you could sit there and make whole shows off of nothing, and that's great. But I don't know, I start feeling icky doing that. So we've covered thousands of cases here, and because of that, we know that that is the case. Okay. Whoa! Look at that. Cairo jumps in there right at the end. I'm going to have to throw you on the spin for tomorrow. Thanks, man. Is that going to catch it? Just want to see if I could catch that on there. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. So you're on there for tomorrow. I don't know if it has the music, but it would have went, eh! Yeah. I don't even know what it would have done. Here, let me see if I can find it. Just a second. OBS Studio. Yeah, I talked to him. Was that yesterday or today? I can't remember now. Yeah, he's been pretty busy out there on the road. Well, I already did the wheel, but you're on the wheel for tomorrow. Okay. You got a good head start. Now, let me play the sound effect that should have happened, though. That's not it. Streamlabs. Log in. No, that was yesterday? Man, time just goes by way too... Oh, that's right, because you were going to maybe come on, but didn't. All right, let me do a sample. Okay, super chats. And then there's a variation. Okay, this won't be the right words and everything, but this might be it. Wait, that's not it. Oh yeah, that would have been.
This is a test.
That's the other one. That's if it's over $30. You get that one. Crime Dissector, Figure Detector, Homicide Human Detector.
for $30.
Not that I know of. It's like dancing. Hey, I appreciate that though, Cairo. Thank you. But yeah, he's got more work to do on each of the towers in a more structured way. It sounded like, when you got a job and it's kind of cool how it works and everything, and then some new person comes in and starts micromanaging everything. That's what it reminded me of. They come in and they try to get you to do all these little things that just seem so unimportant. Yeah. Anyways, did you guys find the stories tonight interesting at least? Even though they're completely random stories that you might not ever hear about them again, except I'm going to try to get a hold of the daughter in the, let's see, let me get the name. Got so many cases now. In the, I think it was Lonine, is that the one? Yeah, Lonine Rogers one. You can listen to the podcast in there, but I think it'd be cool to get her on or at least interview on the side and then play it. Because it's very similar to the Tina Losser. If you haven't seen the Tina Losser, go to the Nefarious playlist on my channel and check that one out. There's also the Leota Camp story that's pretty interesting too. That one's really one of the most mysterious cases ever, right? The Tina Losser, Leota Camp story. But both of them are. But Leota Camp is just so random. Remember that? Like, she's playing in the backyard. We talked about it earlier. But remember, then there was somebody called her phone a couple times and was prank caller saying some things, and that was in the paper. Just some random dude parks his car, walks into the house, stabs her to death, exits the house, and nobody has a clue who that is. Well, good, Carrie. I'm glad. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate you all being here. And Blue's right there in the middle of the screen there for you. Cairo, can you see him? Let's see it. No, that's not it. Blue! Blue! Cairo's here. Look. Say hello. He winked at you. Do you see that? Blue's getting older, man. I think Blue's like 9 or 10 now or something. He's old. Blue, come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. He just says, I'm old, Gray. Leave me the hell alone. Okay? Yeah. I think he's about 50-something years old. I mean, comparatively. 19-year-old cat, huh? All right. Well, thank you all very much for being here, and thanks for Cairo for showing right up at the end there, and thank you all for supporting the channel tonight. I've been walking a lot. I have this treadmill, and I've got it up to where I do like 5 miles a day. I've done 50 miles in the last, I don't know, maybe 13 days or something. So I try to do 5 miles. I got the 6 slope because I usually take a golf cart playing golf, but I bought that electric golf cart add-on thing. So I'm going to be trying that tomorrow, and I'm going to try to walk around. And I don't have any problem walking. It's just I played so much basketball over the years that sometimes my back starts hurting, And so we'll just see. I'm going to see how it goes. It's going to be kind of cool I'm just going to be like having a caddy, right? I'll just be able to walk around and the cart's just going on its own. It's going to be sweet. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, Be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now.
Shoot an eagle.
And during this
No,
whole
you
time,
can't shoot
I
an
have
eagle.
not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector.
I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector.
Crime sector
Here's my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector.
And I'm always gonna
be a puppet
protector.
fool deflector,
Interceptor.
and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Good night, everybody. I wanted to get I wanted to do the rap that I used to do.
What do you mean the rap that you used to do? What does that even mean? The rap that you used to do?
Yeah, you know, the one I used to do a long time ago, right? The mood, I sprinkle troll on my food, but I don't eat it. I chew it up and spit it out and repeat it. It's not a treat. The troll is beat. Just one of the ways that I defeat it. Staying in my groove. When there's a troll on the move, just takes a second to remove, 'cause every time I conclude, the troll is gonna lose. Nice try, lizard eye, I see you creeping on the sly. Why you thinking you'll fly? Such a whiny cry, battle me, you're gonna fry. Gonna send you out to mummify. It's time to say goodbye.
Hey, pretty good, Mary Lou.
Crime dissector, thug rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector, fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector with all respect, y'all. I don't know where trace element Z is. Busy with life, you know. Ha-dee-ha, la-la-la-la-la-la. Yeah, Jay Case just took off forever. I don't know. One day, he just disappeared. A lot of old freaks aren't around. They just go, you know, people don't stay around forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they know what you mean. You just keep rapping, okay?
What do you mean? I can't communicate with people?
No, you cannot.
Gosh, Gray, you're not very nice. Gray
It's right there, okay?
Here's a little story that I got to tell about three bad brothers you know so well. Started way back in history when I'd rock MCA and me, Mike D. Had a little horse, his name was Paul Revere. Me and my horsey had a quart up beer. Running across the land, kicking up sands. There, pausing on my tail cause I'm in demand. One lonely beastie I be. All by myself without nobody. Someone's beating down on my baseball hat. Hair was getting hot, hair was getting flat. Looking for a girl, ran into a guy. His name was MCA. I said howdy, he said hi. He told a little story to son of a rehearse. Word is on the run and that he's dying of thirst. The brew was in my hand and he was on my tip. Yes, so is Rose, right, asked me for a sip. He said, can I get some? I said, you get none. Managed not to run, pulled a shotgun, quick on the draw, thought I'd be dead. Put the gun to my head and this is what he said. My name is MCA, I got a license to kill. Hope you know what time it is, it's time to get ill. Got what the way of here, and how long is beer. I run a slam, you want to to make myself clear. I step into the gunny and then again. And then I know that is ready to begin. Hey, shut up, Gray, let me do it.
Oh, okay, Jesus.
Yeah. I got the gun, you got the brew. You got two choices of what you can do. Sign up the decision as you can see. I can blow your way or you can ride with me. I said I'll ride with you if you can get me to the border. Sheriff's up to me for what I did to his daughter. Did it like this, did it like that. Did it with a weather ball bat. So I'm on the run, the cop got my gun. Right about now it's time to have some fun. King and Rock is my name, and I know the fly spot where they got the champagne. So we rode for 6 hours and we hit the spot. Rope was moving and the girls was hot. The stew was staring like he knows the way I. We took the empty spot next to him at the bar. Yippee-yo, you know this kid? I said I did, but I know he did. Kid said get ready, this ain't funny. My name's Mike D and I'm about to get money. Pulled out the jammy, aimed at the high.
You mean Sky?
Yeah, Sky! And let two fly. Hands went numb, people hit the floor. Wasted 2 kids that ran for the door. I'm Mike D and I get respect. The cash in the jewelry is what I expect. MCA was with it, he's my ace. So I grabbed the piano player and I punched him in the face. Piano player's out, music stopped. Boy had 8, he got dropped. Mike D grabbed the money, MCA snatched the gold. Grabbed 2 girlies and a beer that's cold. Pretty good there, Mary Lou.
Wait, you're Mary Lou. What are you talking about?
Well, you're supposed to say that.
Well, you didn't give me time to say it, for God's sakes. Okay, good job, Mary Lou.
Gosh, Gray, that isn't very nice.
Well, it was hard to be natural about it since you told me to tell you that. Hey, look at, there's a spaceship with a cow in it. That must be Linda Moulton Howe's spaceship. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you all for being here tonight. We will see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Be safe out there. Oh, look, I got myself another drink.
Oh, God. You go ahead. Good night, everybody.